Welcome to the Viper Miner channel. Today we are going to look at this R9 380 AMD card that's been overheating. I don't know if you'll be able to see on the camera, but there is quite a bit of dust out in the fins of the heatsink, and there's quite a bit of dust underneath the fans itself. So my thought was not just to undo or blow out the fan, but also repaste. And I know there's no thermal tape on these, but I'm going to see if I can put some thermal pads onto these onto this GPU to see if I can help with some of the heat. Unfortunately, when you live in Florida, it's always hot. Today is what, February? I don't have my watch on. I think it's February 2nd, and it is 79 degrees outside all day today. In the sun, about 84. So my mining room gets quite toasty. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this GPU apart, and then I'm going to not only talk about cleaning this and how to troubleshoot high heat, because this guy is giving me a problem, but what do I do? What's the process? And in the meantime, instead of just playing some music or something like that, I'm going to talk a little bit about me to show you, what my experience is, what my mining journey is, and so forth. Feel free to leave comments or questions in the comments, and we'll get started. So the first thing I like to do is I like to do a visual inspection. So as I mentioned before, you can definitely see some dust in here, and a lot of people will say, "Oh, that's not that much dust. You're okay. Just blow it out." Well, normally I'd say you're probably right, but unfortunately, like I said, in Florida, you need everything working at peak efficiency. The second thing I like to do is I like to check the back, make sure there's no oil stains in the back, and the back is nice and dry on this. Second is I like to look at the pipes. I like to look down into this before actually taking it apart. And I did get these from China. Obviously, they were probably mining before. And you can tell I have the hanger on here. I do hang my GPUs on a wire rack in my mining room. So we're just going to take this off first and put that aside. And you can even see within the port here quite a bit of dust. So first I'm going to do is I'm just going to blow some dust, some can air right into the ports here. Let's get rid of this right here. And then we're going to start taking this apart. So I always like to start my GPU this way, facing this way. This way I know exactly which way everything goes. So unfortunately I left my iFix kit at a friend's house, but I just need, these are the easiest GPUs to go ahead and clean. This is not my first time cleaning this GPU and repasting it. When I first got them in from China a year and a half ago, I gamed on it for a little bit, so I actually just went ahead and did it then. And then when I actually started to mine on it back in June, I did repaste it one more time. So it has been about a little over 6 months since I've actually pasted these and cleaned them out. So it's about time. And you can see this comes off real easy, and you can see even some of the GPU goop here is actually quite, it's still moist, but you can see how it slid. So I don't know if you can actually see that with the camera. Let me bring this up a little bit. So you can see how the paste did not stay on. It slid a little bit, probably when I was putting it back, and the entire die is not covered in the paste. So there's issue number one. So as we were getting more heat and there was less and less efficiency in the fins here, we started having more and more issues. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a shop towel and I'm going to try to get as much of this excess off. And then we're going to have to use a little. And actually, if I'm looking at this, I don't know if you can see this. This is quite already hardened. So it is time to repaste this GPU, which means the other ones in the rig are probably very similar, and I'm going to have to repaste as well. All right, so I just use denatured alcohol, 70%, and some cotton balls and Q-tips. What's nice about the alcohol is that you don't have to worry about residue later. I know some people use Windex, which is actually good. There's actually ammonia in Windex, which helps you clean as well. But I find that Windex does leave a film, and you don't want to film on any of your GPUs. All right, so to give you a little background, I used to work, or still do, I work in the stock market. I work for a hedge fund. I do a lot of stock trading. I find it actually, a lot of people say it's stressful, but I find it to be very relaxing to me. I like the research. I like going through and finding opportunities that are missed, opportunities that people may not have realized was there. And it's served me well. I've made a really good living off of it. Back in 2019, 2020, as we were starting to go into COVID, I did find myself with a lot more time on my hands. And, you know, the stock market was doing pretty good. Still, it was, you know, reacting to COVID, which is, you know, expected. And I've always, you know, if you're any of my friends, you know, my saying is, as long as the stock market's moving, you can make money. So, you know, you make money if it's going up, make money if it's going down. But when it's sitting still and it's just not doing much, I was looking for something a little more passive income, something that could be done. And this paste is so caked in here. That I wanted something that was, you know, more passive. Now, you could say, hey, Viper, there's other passive incomes you can do within the stock market. Absolutely. I mean, there's options. There's a lot of, you know, you could do a dividend plate. I've done those, and I am doing those. Those are very good passive income. But you really got to manage those quite a bit. They're you got to keep an eye on them. Not only that, but you got to. It's not, to me, that's not true passive income. I like mining because, one, I'm creating a coin, which is actually kind of cool. So by creating the coin, I then have something I can do with that, right? I can turn around and I'm really trying to get these clean because these, I think that's pretty much it. I know these this particular bar has a gray substrate underneath it of pins, but I want to make sure that's nice and clean. And notice how I just touched that with my finger. That's a no-no. I don't know if most people know that, but you do not want your oil from your fingers and from your skin to be on any of the dies. That is very, very bad. All right, so now we got that cleaned up. We're gonna do this copper sink here, which came out pretty clean just with the shop towel. Now, next thing I like to do when I clean out my GPUs is I just run and try to get all this dust. Unless this heat sink in here is dusty as well. So we have memory chips all along here. All right, so now I'm gonna take the, and I gotta make sure you get all the fuzz out once you do that. I wanna make sure that's all nice and clean as well. So anyway, like I said, I was trying to find some really good passive income, and I found crypto to be that. So I'm gonna blow this out now. So I'm gonna blow this with the can air. I know a lot of people say, oh, there's moisture in here and everything else. As long as you don't plug your GPU in right away, you let it sit for 5 minutes afterwards, you'll be fine. I have never had a problem. I have a double E as well, and I've I could tell you how to build all these and design a circuit board with no, basically my eyes shut and my hands tied behind my back. But it's a miss. As long as the board is dry by the time you plug it in, you're fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna, and I'm not gonna actually spray the board. I'm gonna spray the heatsink. I haven't taken the fan clip off on this one yet because I had problems with this particular one trying to get it back on. This was my original gaming 380 a long time ago. So I'm gonna blow this fan out. And the one thing I do is, if you notice, I do put my finger on the fan to make sure that the fan does not spin. The fan bearings are rated to spin at a certain RPM, and it is possible that you can get that RPM faster. And you may not see a problem with after right away, but you may find that your fan starts dying a lot sooner. All right, so you can see that's pretty clean. I look on the back side here, I can see the fan blades are pretty darn clean now. I got a little piece of fuzz there, so we're going to get that off. All right, so now we're going to paste this. Now a lot of people turn around and say, oh, put and smooth this whole thing out and put a dot here and here. And I find, I don't know what it is, but on the older AMD cards, if I put a dot here, if I do the star pattern or a box in the center, I don't get a good compression on the paste. So I am going to go ahead and actually put the paste all over the GPU die. Right, so we're using M5 thermal compound. There's also an M4, but I find the F5 does a little bit better. Now, the theory of this goes a long way is absolutely true. Oops, and I just made a mess. So you notice that I have a little bit of a compound over here. You do not want that on your board. So we're going to take that off. And then I'm going to break off my, since for whatever reason, they didn't give me, they usually give you a little plastic spatula, like, let's break off the tip, and then I'm going to go like this. I'm going to smooth this out all the way out to the edges. Actually kind of therapeutic. So anyway, so I have my double E, and I guess in college I didn't know what the heck I wanted to do. So now I get a double E, but I also have a marketing degree, and it's actually an international marketing degree, which actually has served me well as I started moving beyond programming and software engineering and electrical engineering. And so now I do trading full time. I actually started a business with my wife about a year prior to the pandemic. And it was a travel business. My wife and I love to travel. And it actually was taken off very well to the point where we were both looking at possibly quitting our jobs. Thank God we did not. My wife is an ER nurse. And we went ahead and went from probably one of the best sales rates of a new business within the industry to basically nothing because of the pandemic. So we just kept on going. And then, another reason why that kind of told me, hey, I want to make sure I have a passive income revenue stream that's not related to anything else. And that's where crypto really came in. So now the trick is getting these back on. Right? So you just want to make sure you line them up. Oh, another thing I did say I wanted to see about putting some thermal pads on this. The problem is these are so thin away from anything. I don't think it's really going to be worth putting thermal pad on these. So we are going to Go like this. And so what I'm trying to do is, you'll see the 4 little spokes. That's where the 4 screws came out. So this is the easiest fan to our GPU with the fan block here to take apart, because it's basically got 4 screws and you're done. But I'm lining up the 4 spokes to the 4 holes, and I'm going to do that by coming on 2 and then 3, squish, push over, and you can see I'm lined up, and I put the holes or the screws back in the same exact holes. And we're going to start with a star pattern. Always lock down any electronic device, or almost anything, even your tires in your car. You want to do a star pattern because you want pressure to be distributed equally across something. Now I go about halfway, and then I take the next, I'll go over here. Oh, I slid. That's not good. We're going to put that down, and we're going to take a look underneath. And I can see, because I'm not post all the way down, it looks like it is still centered. I don't know if you guys can see that in the camera. So I'm not too worried about that. It slid a little bit. Continue now with our star pattern. So we went here, here, and we're going to go back over to here. And I put them down, like I said, halfway, about halfway down. And I know I did it right because I end up right over here. Same sticker. So again, we're going to start here. So I'm going to go down to where it's just all the way down. I haven't tightened them yet. All right, so now one last quick visual. Make sure that that GPU is sitting in there. The die is sitting there. I don't see any leakage coming through, too much thermal paste or anything like that. It looks good. And we're going to go and now tighten this down. All right, that's it. That's our GPU. All cleaned, looks good. So we're going to put this into the rig, and then we'll fire up and see how she is doing. Like I said, guys, any questions or anything like that, feel free to put them in the comments section. I am happy to answer any questions. And like I said, I basically did this for passive income. I'm going to have a couple more videos that I am looking at doing some bot trading with a couple different companies that I found. It looks very interesting. It won't be financial advice, but it will be something to, for you to think of. I like to stack my coins, so I stack, but I don't want them just sitting there. I want passive income on my passive income. So I am looking at doing that. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day,